the now current Secretary of State Antony Blinken and his involvement with orchestrating an intel letter that discredited the finding of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Remember, you had 51 intelligence officials say that this was Russian disinformation. We now, of course, know that that's not true. Well, Jim Jordan's committee has done some deeper dives into this. We've done some FOIA requests on it as well. And the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan and House Intel Committee Chairman Mike Turner sent a letter to Blinken Thursday notifying him that the panels are conducting, quote, oversight of a federal law enforcement intelligence matters within their jurisdictions. In a transcribed interview, Mike Morrell, who was a deputy secretary at that point, testified that on or around October 17, 2020, that Antony Blinken reached out to Morrell to ask him to orchestrate a letter-writing campaign with 51 intel officers regarding the Hunter Biden laptop.
Eventually it gets to, well, what was the intent of the statement? And he goes, well, there were two intents. Our intent was to share a concern with the American people that the Russians were playing on this issue. And two, it was to help Vice President Biden. Then said, Chairman Jordan said, you wanted to help the vice president? Why? I wanted him to win the election. You wanted him to win, that's why? Yes, sir.
Well, there you have it. It's exactly what we thought. So when you talk about election interference issues and people kind of gaming the system, yeah. You're seeing it play out in reality.
Yeah, you may want to question a lot of it, and that's fine. You should question a lot of things, whether you believe people's theories or not. Don't believe people's theories. But some of these are just right here in paper, and they're admitting to it.
When you're in these hearings, you got to tell the truth because failure to do so results in perjury. But you wanted him to win. That's why. Yes, sir. So they come up with this is Russian disinformation, which none of it was Russian disinformation, for one purpose only. And that purpose was for Joe Biden to win.
Let's also be very clear that Antony Blinken, who was working on the Biden campaign, who is now the Secretary of State, he did not have a single piece of intelligence that pointed to the fact that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. No one was briefed on it. No one ever had a single piece of raw intelligence suggesting it. They made it up. They did it 3 weeks before the election for political partisan purposes. 51 former intelligence officials never saw a single piece of intel. They did it at the direction of Antony Blinken, who is now the Secretary of State. Antony Blinken participated in election interference with total fake information. This literally implodes his moral capabilities to go around the world and talk about democracy. He just was caught with someone under oath who ran the CIA saying, Antony Blinken asked us to sign this letter, and we all did it to help the Biden campaign. This is such an outrage. This is how countries implode when we have leaders like this.
What it points out was that in 2020, there was just a lot of stuff going on. Now, Is it going to happen again in 2024? Probably. Is it going to be to this extent? I hope not.